am Jayne Case. I'm a Deloraine local and we're here at New Playground in Deloraine today.
Can you talk about your book? You've written a book?
Yeah, so I wrote this book, Counting on You, a NICU story, after my youngest of 3 sons was born and needed to spend some time in the NICU. The book that I wish I'd had for my 2 older children while we were down there, that I looked everywhere for a book that would help them to be able to understand the experience and what was going on with their baby and why he had to stay in hospital with so many tubes and monitors and beeping. And I couldn't find one, so I figured I would have to write it myself. And I did, and that's it. So
Explain a bit more about what NICU is.
NICU is neonatal intensive care unit. It's where babies go when they need a little bit of extra help when they're born, when they need some medical assistance, or when they're premature. So a lot of babies are very premature when they're born. My son was born with medical issues. So about a week before he was born, we found out he had something up with his kidneys. So we had a week advance warning, which most people don't get. And in Tasmania, there's only one high-risk NICU, and that is in Hobart. I think the other maternity units have special care nurseries, which is similar, but we were down in Hobart for 6 weeks.
How long did it take to write?
In terms of writing it, not very long, actually, because it was one of those things that I had the idea in my head and all the words one night when I was up breastfeeding. I think it was when my baby was 4 months old. It just fully downloaded into my brain, somehow magical, and got up and wrote it in my phone notes app in the ensuite at 4 a.m. one night. But other than that, once it was written, I found myself an online self-publishing course. I don't deal well with rejection, so I thought that self-publishing seems the way to go rather than having to try. I'll just draw it myself. So I did a course on how to do that, and then from there it was probably another year before I was holding it in and I released it just over a year old.
How's it gone so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been sort of slow going because I knew that it was never going to be my chart topper because it's quite a niche subject. But I'm still keeping on going with it because I can see the benefit of it being out in the world and available for not just for NICU families and for other families going through a similar journey, but also families who have never heard of the NICU before, so that they can read stories for their kids that are engaging and encouraging empathy of other people's difficult stories. And I think one of the things I love most about it is where kids who have never seen, like it talks about nasogastric tube and all sorts of weird concepts that totally foreign to kids and many adults too, actually. And so I really like that this is a sort of soft launch into some really tricky stories. And for a long time, my little boy had a nasogastric tube, and a lot of people were really quite horrified when they first see that. So I think stories like this kind of introduce it softly, and then when they do see a person in the world or a NICU baby or they're exposed to it somehow, they're worried, I read a book about this one. And so that's my aim as well, for not just for supporting the NICU families, but also to make it more accessible.
Education and awareness. Different experience. You wrote it on quick. And how to self-publish. What's that been like? And how have you found the process trying to sell the book and work out distribution and all of that sort of extra stuff that people don't often think about?
Yes. It's definitely not a straight line from writing a book to publish. Not my background at all. So it was a very steep, and still is, I'm still learning. And marketing is not my favourite thing in the world. I've had to suck that up a bit because it doesn't sell itself if it's just sitting in a cupboard. So yeah, I've learnt lots of new skills, especially, and a whole new language in the publishing world as well, with margins and end papers and things like that. But luckily, I feel like it's a very important sort of passion project for me. So I have grown to love it.
You've got an illustrator. How did you work that out?
Yeah, so my illustrator Tika, I found her online at the time. She lived in Jakarta,
Okay.
and now she lives in America. I think probably one of the barriers is the cost, and especially for a very teeny author like I am, definitely the Australian prices of illustrators are thousands of dollars. So looking overseas helped it keep it affordable.
That's the difference between it getting done and maybe
That's
not
right.
getting.
Yeah. And probably 3 or 4 illustrators from around the world and chose the one we liked best. My son, the main character, is my eldest son, and he helped me choose the illustrator. And when we first opened up Tika's sample illustrations, we were like, whoa, she's the one. We knew straight away. So that was really lovely. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, so in terms of, I guess I'm wondering, do you have the way that it works? Do you have a big stack of books at home, or is it printed as you go?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So I signed up to what's called a global distribution website, print on demand, so I can print out as many as I need to start with, and I sell them out myself, wholesale them out myself. It's all on me though, so I don't have any agents or publishers or anything. I'm all of that.
Yeah.
This global distribution website allows it to be available on Amazon, and so anyone in the world can buy it on Amazon or through this website.
Yeah.
I've got my website as well.
Have you found it seems like a topic that might be helpful for a range of different families? Is the library as an option? Is it?
Yeah, so there's I'm trying to get it in to send it to local libraries and things like that. The place I want it to go the most is to NICU units, directly to like Ronald McDonald houses, which are associated with the NICU, where families might be staying if they've got a baby in NICU. So on my website, one of my biggest opportunities is, or you can go on my website and donate a copy, and you can choose from I think it's like 39 different options, different NICU units around Australia, different Ronald McDonald houses. And instead of buying it and sending it themselves, I can do it directly.
Yeah.
So they can buy a copy for themselves, or they can choose to have one sent to the Townsville Ronald McDonald House, for example. So that's been a really special way of getting it out into the world, but also helping with my mission of getting it into when they need it the most. That's been really...
It's been quite an experience so far. Do you think you would be interested in doing another book?
Absolutely. I've got the bug now. I have already written my second book, third and fourth. But yeah, I'm taking it slowly because I know how much work it is, and it's not a straightforward process. So I'm trying to just pace myself a little bit. The second book that I've got, I've decided to illustrate myself. So that's a new challenge. So it's about something that's completely and utterly in the opposite direction to NICU and medical stuff, because talking about my family's biggest traumas isn't always very fun to do that over and over again. I will keep doing it because I think it's an important subject. It's important for families to have this support. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to having something that's a little bit less niche and a bit more relatable for more